Okay, we're going to call it 4 o'clock. They have a script for me to read. But like I say with the scripture, we take it lovingly but not always literally. So I'll try to follow the script. Anyway, good afternoon. Welcome to Menifee United Church of Christ and our event with Ken Calvert. Now, I have you know, I made up that sign, red, white, and blue. I thought it, was patriotic. And I'm a minister, so, I hold out hope. So I hold out hope that he will walk through those doors and answer our questions and hear our comments. And we're so thankful that you all came. This is a great turnout. Actually, I didn't know there was this many liberal people in Menifee. But anyway. We would like to recognize all the organizations that are here that put all this on, including Building Healthy Communities, the California Partnership, Clínicas de Salud del Pueblo, I'm sorry I butchered that, Indivisible42, the NAACP, Planned Parenthood Action Fund of the Pacific Southwest, the Social and Economic Justice Coalition, TODEC. What is TODEC? Anybody? Okay. Huh?
It's a training. It's an acronym for Training, Occupational Development, Educating Communities. We're a nonprofit grassroots organization that serves the immigrant community.
Okay, thank you. And UDW, which as I understand it are, home care workers, I believe, union. All of you that organize this deserve a round of applause. Yes. And while we're grateful for the opportunity to collaborate with these great organizations, the truth is that these types of spaces should be available to us routinely. This is democracy in action, ladies and gentlemen. We elect our people to represent us and not just go off to Washington and do whatever they want. We want them to know what we want and at least take that into account. And the only way they can know what we want is to come to events like this. We're going to send the cards that you're going to fill out. Take those to Corona. My daughter lives in Washington, D.C., so if any of these groups want to sponsor me to take the cards to D.C., I would do that. Okay, I did send a letter to Ken Calvert inviting him to come. Almost before it went to the mailbox, we got a call from his office here in Corona saying, unfortunately, he couldn't make it. So, and I also should say, I'm the minister of this church. You all know that. And we are a 501c3. So I have to protect our tax-exempt status. So I'm not here for political purposes. I'm here because of justice. I'm here because of that sign. I'm here because of that sign that's in the back that talks about the war on children, the war on, the poor, the war on everything. The elderly, I don't have to tell you all the things they're trying to cut. I mentioned to a council member here in town that what they should do, they're trying to figure out how to deal with health care. And I said, what's wrong with Medicare for all? And he said, well, who's gonna pay for that? And I said, well, don't give a tax cut to the rich and don't increase the military budget by 10%. There you go. If I stand up here long enough, I might run for president in 2020. I do have my white suit on, so you know I'm the good guy. And I thought this was a white hat, but then I held it up against the white suit. It's not. Anyway. Close enough. All right, back to the script that I never follow. Okay, we'll, as I say, we're going to persist and address Congressman Calvert as if he were here. And you all know your part in this. And Yanni's going to come up and lead you in the chant, because to me it sounds a little too political, and somebody might take a video of me leading that chant and get me in more trouble than that video will get me in. Anyway, what else am I saying? If you're like me, or if you've been paying attention to the news lately, and I don't know about you, but I took about a month off after the election. I could not watch the news. Or I was in denial. Either one. Or both. There's likely a lot that concerns you, and we have the cards and the different colored cards, and we'll have the questions, and each one will get their own section. And I'm gonna try to move this along. You should have a yellow sheet of paper labeled question or comment card. Please take the time to fill out as many cards as necessary to get your voice heard by this guy. Because they will all be delivered to his office. We'll be dividing tonight's program by the categories on those cards. We know there are a ton of issues, and they don't all fall into the neatly cut up categories. I think we do have a catch-all fifth category that we'll get to at the end. And so we would like at least everybody here to fill out at least one card, one question or comment card. And when we open up the microphone, we will have you'll have 1 minute, and people will hold up a card to indicate when you're done. Or I'll go, eh. No, I won't do that. So you'll have 1 minute, and then you can address the chair and use your sheet of paper as a guide when you're up here. Be sure to state your name and the city where you live. In this event live on Facebook, Congressman Calvert and his staff can see that you are a constituent. I'm sure they're all watching. Where's the camera? Hello, Congressman and his staff. Yes. Normally, after a citizen expresses their concern, the representative would reply and address the issue, and we thought long and hard about having a panel of experts up here answering the questions, but they decided not to, and that's where Yanni's going to come in with leading you in the chant. Congressman Calvert should be here. He should be present to hear your concerns, so instead we're going to accept the awkward silence of not having our congressman here with us to answer our questions. And the congressman did come about a couple of weeks, 3 weeks ago, something like that, to the Menifee City Council, and some of us were able to address him there. He just sat there like a potted plant and didn't answer anything. But at least we got to say something to him. And I talked to him about, the poor, the homeless. I said, what did I say? I said, try to treat the have-nots with at least as much respect as you all treat the have-lots. Okay, we got to move this along, I'm assuming. All right, I think we're ready to get started, aren't we? So, if you would like to share your concerns on health and environmental justice issues, you can go to the microphone.
Definitely. As Pastor said, let's give it up for Pastor for allowing us to be here and hosting this beautiful event. As the pastor had mentioned, we did reach out multiple times to Calvert, and they were unwilling to be here. And as we were organizing this, we had a decision to make. We were like, should we have our organizations try to answer your questions? And we felt like that wasn't right, because that's what Calvert's here to do. He's the one that was elected. He's supposed to answer to his constituency and let you guys know and hear your concerns and the issues within the community. So we didn't want to answer that. So that's why we're going to have that awkward silence, just to show that he's not present. We're not seeing him where we need to see him. I know that there's been other attempts to reach out to him as well and have him participate with the community, and he's been a no-show. So saying that, the question of the day is, what would Calvert say? Definitely, and that's the truth today, as you can see for yourself. Let's say hi to the office. And if you disagree, just hold up your red cards. Here we go. Just everybody hold up those red cards real quick. And if you could put the card down if you think it's okay for your elected not to engage with the community. So they should stay up. They should pretty much stay up. If you think your elected shouldn't be concerned about the issues of its constituents, put the card down. So the cards are remaining up. So this is our approval rating, I guess, and I think that would be like a red 200, whatever that counts for. You know what I mean? So as we're about to get started with our presentation, for those that have a concern with health care, have a question that they would like to pose to Mr. Calvert pertaining to health care and environmental justice, please make your way up to the. All right, for health and environmental justice, those topics are going to be covering environment, health care, and reproductive health. So if you have a question that you would like to answer to Calvert, please make your way over here on the my left, your right-hand side of the aisle, or either way, we'll get you up here. We'll just form a line right here at the mic. And just, everybody has a minute, but just speak genuinely from your heart, and just speak genuinely from your heart. That's all we can ask, all right? But be respectful by all means.
Hi, Congressman Calvert. Why does our government support the insurance industry and its CEOs instead of the American people? Healthcare is a right. We should not be the only industrialized country that is without healthcare for all.
Mr. Calvert, California has one of the most environmentally conscious populations of any state. We have some of the strongest protections on our environment in the United States. Yet the League of Conservation Voters rates your record on the environmental issues at an abysmal 5%. You have voted in favor of deauthorizing critical habitat for endangered species. Just this year, you voted in favor of allowing Alaskan wolves and bears to be killed in their dens and shot from airplanes. You voted in favor of weakening the authority of the EPA. You voted to disapprove of the stream protection rule, which among other things will allow coal waste to enter streams and eventually people's drinking water. Do you seriously believe, Mr. Calvert, that your constituents favor poisoning the air and water supply? Many of us remember when you couldn't see the San Bernardino Mountains from Riverside. And we remember the health issues that caused. Where are the constituents you feel you are representing who would be in favor of reducing our air quality back to that level when it wasn't healthy to be outside? 25% of our district is children, another under 18, and another 10% are people over 65. Both populations which are affected by poor air quality. Who are you representing when you vote in favor of pollution? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Calvert, wherever you might be. My name is Barbara Pierce, and I'm a constituent from Lake Elsinore, California. Thank you. And I want him to keep doing this. I do. Please keep underestimating us until 2018. You'll find out that's a mistake. Thank you. The earth is a fragile place. Tell me what you are doing specifically to protect, preserve, and restore our environment.
My name is Will Everly. I'm from Canyon Lake, California. Mr. Calvert, your party seems to believe that health care is easy or simple or is something that is so bad under the Affordable Care Act that we should go back to the system before. While the Affordable Care Act has issues and could be improved, the Affordable Care Act has saved so many lives. I do not understand why you would vote against something that has saved so many lives. People would not have health care if there was no Affordable Care Act. In our area, there are so many people that are able to go to the hospital, able to go to the doctor, able to have medical issues taken care of that would not have been possible before. This is a right. Healthcare should be a right. Healthcare should be simple. Healthcare should be available. Access and affordable healthcare are not the same thing. Access means you can get it if you can afford it. Coverage is coverage. Big difference, sir. Thank you.
Hi, Ken. My name is Dennis Wortham, and I'm a constituent from Corona, California. I know that the Republicans are talking about trying to cram in the AHCA next week, another vote on that thing, just so that you can have some kind of legislative win before your 100 days. All of us here, I'm sure, urge you to vote against this. Not only does it vote against anything that they put up next week. Thanks, Ken.
And so I want to know why you voted against the ACA to repeal and replace. There are lots of people like me with families to support who can't afford hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical bills.
Hello again, Congressman. My name is Maggie Hawkins. I live in Riverside, and yes, I am still in your district. I checked, unfortunately. I am a board member for the Center for Community Action and Environmental Justice, which is one of the oldest environmental justice organizations in the country. You sit on the Appropriations Committee overseeing the Environmental Protection Agency budget. Given how air quality has been a critical issue to the health of this region, how can you support the President's proposed cuts to the EPA?
Congressman Calvert, I'm Heather Tortoretti. I'm one of your constituents from Marietta. Can you name one time whereby you put your constituents' concerns before a party line? And what will you do to ensure that insurance costs will be lowered or at least remain the same without eliminating coverage? I have a young son. He needs medicine. Are you going to take that cap of 26 years old away as well as the pre-existing conditions? He has that too.
Congressman Calvert, my name is Julia. I'm a constituent from the South Corona area, and I want to know what gives you, a politician, a real estate developer, a land mogul, a man with no medical degree, the authority to decide the kind of women's reproductive rights I have. So, Congressman Calvert, I'd like you to get out of my uterus. Thank you.
Hi, folks. I'm Jacqueline Casillas with Planned Parenthood Action Fund of the Pacific Southwest. I'm one of the partnering organizations, and I thank you for taking their Saturday and coming to talk about the issues that concern you most. Planned Parenthood wanted to make a statement in the section of health and environmental justice because we believe in access to comprehensive, non-judgmental reproductive health care. And Congressman Calvert, we want to urge you to stand with Planned Parenthood, stand with millions of women, men, and youth in this country to not fund Planned Parenthood and to please protect access to reproductive health.
Definitely. What would Calvert say? And that's the truth. The next section that we have is economic equality. The sections that covers is economy, homelessness, jobs, veterans issue, and workers' rights. So if you have a question pertaining to those issues, please make your way up to the mic and say your say.
My name's Robert. I work for Meals on Wheels at BOT, and me and my fellow coworkers, even though they're not here, and I am disabled, but I was wondering, what would you do with the disabled jobs, and how would you keep them open for Meals on Wheels or any of pretty much any of the BOT, well, BOT ain't here, but that's where I work for, but what would you do for everybody that's disabled, and especially people that have epilepsy like me?
My name is Will Everly. I'm from Canyon Lake. Congressman Calvert, I'm concerned about the administration's and the Republicans, if you will, their interest in doing away with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, an agency that was established, by the Obama administration to protect consumers from the banksters, fraudsters, mortgage companies. Really, several of the people that are in the administration's house and the administration that are in the cabinet are people that have been sanctioned by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau for actions they have taken in their businesses. Mortgage companies, banks, other large employers. The consumer is the individual who is your constituent, who you should be protecting, not the banks and the administration. Our president wants to end the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and its independence. You must not allow that. That does not protect your constituents in any way.
Hi, Mr. Calvert. I'm Linda St. John from Menifee. According to the Politics That Work website, 96.4% of the time, your voting record favors the wealthy, and 100% of the time favors big business. 92% of the time, you favor bills that put more of the tax burden on the middle class. According to 2015 statistics, 66% of your constituents in District 42 earn less than $100,000 a year. 10% of our households live in poverty. Who are you representing with 90% of your votes? It's not the majority of your constituency. The president has a big tax bill coming. How are you going to protect the 66% of your constituents who are not rich? How are you going to protect them from being harmed by new tax policies?
My name is Greg Tortoretti. I'm one of your constituents from Murrieta. My question for you, Congressman Calvert, will you be supporting Trump's budget? And if so, can you justify cuts to science, cuts to those in most need, at the same time approving money for him to build his wall? And we now spend 54 cents out of every dollar on defense. We know that your $54 billion that he wants for defense is not for defense, it's for defense contractors. We're your constituents. You are our representative. And I think it's about time that you listen to your constituents being our representative. Thank you.
My name is Jeanette Collins. I live in Murrieta. Congressman Calvert, I moved into your district in 1986. I've had children and grandchildren go through the schools, the public schools in this area. I've been very active in the community. I would like to know why you have not addressed the homelessness in this district. I have seen teens, children, families, veterans sleeping in a doorway on a street. This is not acceptable.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Manuela Ramírez, vengo de Líderes Campesinas. Les voy a decir la misión.
Good afternoon, my name is Manuela Ramirez and I'm here with Líderes Campesinas.
Les voy a decir la misión de Líderes Campesinas, que es una corta palabra, pero que significan mucho.
I'm going to give you the mission of Líderes Campesinas, which is a small phrase, a short phrase, but it means a lot.
La misión de Líderes Campesinas es fortalecer el liderazgo de campesinas para que ellas
The mission for Líderes Campesinas is to strengthen the campesina, the laborer, the women laborers, to protect.
Para que ellas sean el puente que logren los cambios sociales, económicos y políticos.
So that they can strive and make the changes to protect to make the changes necessary, the economic changes, the political changes, the social changes that they need in their communities.
Que nos aseguran los derechos humanos.
This is so that we can secure the human rights.
Gracias.
Thank you.
These are some amazing, amazing heartfelt questions to the issue. I mean, I wonder, what would Congressman Calvert say? We don't know. We will show. That's the truth. Our next section is systematic inequality. The topics within that category are education, immigration, and the prison industrial complex. So you have questions pertaining to those issues, please make your way down to the mic and express yourself. Let your congressman, your representative know the issue that's within your heart, one of your concerns. So make your way down and the mic is yours. Once again, systematic inequality, education, immigration, and prison industrial complex.
Hello, Congressman Calvert. My name is Dana Connolly. I live in Temecula. I've been a special education teacher in Temecula for over 20 years. just so you know that I know what I'm talking about, I have a bachelor's in social science, a master's in education. My question for you is, given your support for school vouchers, how do you propose that students with special needs and on legally binding IEPs will receive a free, appropriate public education at all school sites with the limited staffing and funding that you also support?
Hi again, my name is Will Everly. I'm from Canyon Lake. My comment for Congressman Calvert is simply, we have a so-called Attorney General who works for a so-called president who has something to say about so-called judge in Hawaii who's banned the Muslim ban. Well, my question in this issue is all about the prison industrial complex. This immigration issue is not an immigration issue. It is just like the other issue of defense spending. It's for a contractor that spends or that has private prisons. This is to incarcerate immigrants. That's what this is about. It has nothing to do with anything else. If it was just what it was said it was to be, it would be people who are convicted of serious crimes being removed. Instead, we have anyone being removed who happens to be picked up in a sweep. That's just the way it is. I've seen sweeps around here. I've seen sweeps at the gate in Canyon Lake. I've seen sweeps in Lake Elsinore, and they are not stopping at people who are convicted criminals. Absolutely not. What are you going to do about that, Congressman?
My name is Cindy Reyna. Hello, my Congressman Ken Calvert. I'd like to address the issue on immigration. I think it's highly unnecessary for those who are trying to in search for a better life for their family, trying to keep up, get a job, and pay taxes like a normal American. I understand the immigration for the criminals, but that's not who you're immigrating, and I feel that's a big issue. Thank you.
Hello, Congressman Calvert. My name is Trevor Richardson from Corona. I am the son of 2 elementary school teachers, and that's more for them, not for me. But anyway, and recently there is an article that came out saying that you support charter schools, and my question is very simple: is why don't our public school education system get your support like the charter schools do?
Hello, Congressman. I don't expect you to do anything about what I'm about to say, but I do want to know if you can possibly imagine and empathize being a black female woman walking down the street of Pretoria, South Africa during the height of apartheid. Every Mexican American or Hispanic who lives in this country this day is subject to the same kind of treatment where anybody who is not like them can walk up to them and ask them for their papers. That's what Mr. Trump has brought to America.
Mr. Calvert, my name is David Griffiths. I live in Homeland, and I have a question. Do you know who Maribel Trujillo is? I'm assuming you don't, so I'll tell you who she is and what her story is. She's a Latina who came to the United States illegally, granted, 15 years ago. She has abided by the law. She's been a good person. She married an American citizen, and she now has 3 children who are American citizens. Recently, she was picked up off the streets in Cincinnati, Ohio. She's been processed and getting ready to be deported. Her youngest child suffers from severe seizures It's a very special situation and one that she's very attuned to and can see them coming on and deal with it when it happens. Now, the government that you are part of and its infinite wisdom has decided that maybe the right thing to do is send this special needs child back to Central America with her. She left there originally to avoid what befell her family, and that is falling in with some drug lords who attacked them and killed them. So it was a terrible story, but the hardline immigration policies that you support have a real effect on real people. That is not the United States of America I know.
Hello, Congressman Ken Calvert. My name is Luz Gallegos, Community Programs Director for TODEC Legal Center, which is an acronym for Training, Occupational Development, Educating Community. TODEC was founded in 1984 in the city of Paris. Since then, we've grown to be a regional organization. Our mission is to empower the immigrant community so they can become social, economically, educationally, and civic self-sufficient, and empowered with all their rights that we have here in the United States. Being born into this movement, I've seen so many things, so many injustices that our community has faced, but this is the worst times we've lived in. We continue working in the grassroots. We're seeing it firsthand, what our community's suffering, what our kids are going through. Our kids are terrified. Our kids are crying. They're scared that their parents are going to be deported. Our families are living in fear more than ever. Even our legal permanent residents that are here legally fear for their security in this country. More than ever, we are seeing people rushing to naturalize, to become U.S. citizens. The organization has empowered over 100,000 immigrants to become citizens since its founding. And we've been focusing on building our community's political power because at the end of the day, that's what counts. Our community, I might have been born here in the U.S., I might be a U.S. citizen, but what happening to my brothers and sisters hurts me, and that is why I'm asking you to have compassion, to walk in the shoes that our community's walking, living in fear. Even our kids, our schools are seeing the drop in their attendance, that kids don't want to go to school because they fear if they come home, their parents are not going to be there. How would you feel your grandkids having this fear of fearing for their safety of their families? We ask you to have compassion and to actually represent all of your district, not just certain parts of your district. We're asking you to not support President Trump's request for $30 million for investment in mass deportations and the wall. I ask you for compassion. I ask for accountability, for representation of all our immigrant community, all our Muslim community, all LGBTQ communities. We need justice now.
Mr. Calvert, my name's Rebecca Lohman, and I'm from Menifee. I'm a lawyer. I represent children in the foster care system. And my question to you is, how do you suggest that I explain to the children that come to court every day, terrified that their parents are going to be deported? I want to know from you what you are going to do about the families that are being separated and children who are now living parentless in our society. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Harry Ramos, and I'm blessed to be able to represent the NAACP today. I'm going to talk briefly about social equality, but I do want to first say thank you. Thank you to the organizers, all the volunteers, and everyone who took time to come here today. When we talk about racial justice, as a representative of the NAACP, I am reminded of the purpose of our organization. The NAACP formed in 1909 by a multiracial group of progressive thinkers. It was established with the objective of ensuring the political, educational, social, and economic equalities of minority groups. The primary focus of the NAACP continues to be the protection and enhancement of civil rights of African Americans and other minorities. That's right. Get a proud hand. Memberships, like all organizations, is the lifeblood of that organization. And it is open to anyone believing in the basic tenets of the NAACP. We are also concerned with social equality in the community that concerns equal rights under the law, including rights to vote, physical security, freedom of speech and assembly, like today, and the rights to own and protect our property. Social equality also includes concepts of economic equality. That is equal access to education, healthcare, social security, starting and running a business and organizations. And for the sake of time, I'm going to cut to the end. We are so happy and honored to be here today and glad to have the opportunity to inform you about our organization and its goals. I want to invite you to a few of our various events being planned in this area. For example, we are hosting a town hall meeting on April 27, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. at the Paris High School. Please come. And one final thing, in a couple of years, I have seen some anger rising up. I'm only 40 years old, and this is the most anger I have seen in a long time. And perhaps it's always been there, and it's just now starting to boil over. And some of us can even say it's righteous anger. But I will say this, that an even more stronger emotion that's in this room is love. And we must reaffirm our loyalties and remember that only through Jesus Christ, if we work together, that love can be shared and we can grow, because through him, social equality will be achieved. Thank you and God bless.
Hello, missing Ken Calvert. My name is Julie D'Onofrio, Canyon Lake, and Thursday night, on the subject of immigration and also the prison industrial complex, I saw a wonderful documentary, Immigrants for Sale. Everyone must see that, and he could really learn something from it. There was also an additional 5-minute, 10-minute on the industrial, prison industrial complex, which was amazing. Just look it up, Immigrants for Sale, and whatever the other one was. Thank you.
Definitely, thank you for your wonderful questions. My name is Ipyani Locker. I work for California Partnership. I'm the Inland Valley organizer, so I work throughout San Bernardino County and the western part of Riverside County. And we are a social economic justice coalition that advocates for communities of color, low-income communities and in communities of color, people that have been marginalized or put to the fringes of society so often where people don't recognize their value or worth. Taking that hat off and just speaking from a human lens, like we're all blessed to be alive, regardless of our political affiliations, our religious beliefs, color or culture. We're all blessed to have this time. And we work hard, and many of our organizations, and really all of the organizations that we work with, work hard and tirelessly to make that impact, to make that change, to make sure that everybody gets a great quality of life. We don't have to just coexist together. We can thrive. We can flourish, especially in this land. This country is so wealthy, but yet we see the wealth disparities within the communities where the top 1%, 10%, they have money for lifetimes, for eons, legacies, and then we have the rest of us that kind of struggle day to day. You know, most Americans are 2 paychecks away from being homeless or bankrupt themselves. So we have to band together and come together, and that's the mission of California Partnership, to embolden the safety net through the lenses of healthy human services. So if you're interested or you want to get some information or get involved, we would greatly appreciate you and your efforts, all right? And thank you. And you know, these questions, man, I tell you, these questions, they're great questions. And man, I just really wonder, what would Calvert say? Definitely, definitely, and that is the truth. The next section that we have is human rights, and the topics that will be covered in human rights are civil rights, LGBTQ plus issues, Muslim issues, racial justice, and religious rights. So if you have a question pertaining to those sections, please make your way down. The next section is human rights, and the issues are civil rights, LGBTQ plus issues, Muslim issues, racial justice, and religious rights. So make your way down, and thank you.
Hello, Congressman Calvert, wherever you are. My name is Carolyn Raymond, and I live in Hemet. I would like to say, on the matter of human rights, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, Muslim issues, racial justice or injustice, we are Americans. We are Americans. What does that mean? That means we are all equal. What is so hard about that? Why do we even have to have these groups? Why can't we just be Americans? Well, we have a president who doesn't seem to quite believe that. I would like to know what you are personally going to do in Congress to make sure that we, all of us, all Americans, are treated equally, fairly, and with our best interests, not just Congress's best interests, or some president's best interests, or the Senate's best interests, or some business's best interests. What are you going to do to make sure we as Americans are all treated equally? That covers every subject to me. And religious rights, I totally believe in religious rights, but they should not be involved in our government. That is our government from the beginning, and it still stands, and we still need to abide by that. Thank you.
Hello again, Congressman. I'm still Maggie Hawkins, and I'm still in your district. And I probably will always be in that district, but maybe you won't always be there. I am a member of the LGBTQ community and have been out and living in your district and in this region for over 30 years. I have also worked on behalf of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, and intersex youth. Given our so-called Justice Department's blatant disregard for the rights of these youth, what are you going to do to protect these kids? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shirley Johnson. I'm a member of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. What I wanted to ask a question about is Black Lives Matter. I just want to know at what point will you say, when we say Black Lives Matter, you don't come back with all lives matter. We know all lives matter. But all young men are not being shot in the street. We understand that we have our own problem in our own community. What I would like to know, are you willing to come to our community and have a conversation?
Hi again, Congressman Calvert. I'm sorry that you're not here with us because I believe the issue that we're talking about now, the civil rights, human rights, all rights, I think everyone in this room would agree that health care is a right. Health care is a right. Not access, coverage, health care. All of us should be covered. If you do not agree with this, sir, you probably won't be in the next term of congressman from this area. Everyone here needs health care. It should be a civil right. It should be a human right. It is a right, without a doubt. No one should be turned away from health care. No one, ever. Nor should they have a bill that they can never afford to pay. Thank you.
Man, just so much truth and honesty and genuineness. It's kind of hard to find that on the television nowadays, you know what I mean? But you can see that it's present within our community, and that's a beautiful thing. We need to encourage honesty and truth and just speak from our heart and being genuine about our concerns, about our issues. And to me, the utmost is how we address each other. We need to speak to each other in that tone of love where we're trying to find understanding, where we're seeking common ground. Because a lot of times when we talk and get into these kind of stages, we're not listening to what the other person is saying. We're just hearing what we're going to say next. And when you have that kind of mindset, when we're not genuinely listening to each other's concerns, we'll never find that common ground to build. But in my mind, the common ground is life. We're alive. We're human beings, right? So we have much more common ground. But these questions are so interesting. It just makes me wonder. I'm like, what would Calvert say, And that is the truth. Well, definitely. We're coming to our final section, and this is other. So if you have a question that you would like to pose to Congressman Calvert that you feel that we were not able to address within the 4 sections, this is your chance and your opportunity to come up and make your concerns known and share your concerns with the congressman as your constituent. And also we have another announcement that's going to be said quickly.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, while we're starting to wind down the end of our program today, I wanted to give a huge thank you to the Menifee United Church of Christ and Pastor Bill Freeman. All of the organizations involved have made a donation, and we are going to pass this box to any of you who feel that you would like to say thank you. He did provide the services. All of this was free to us. So I want to thank the church and Reverend Bill Freeman and his wife Kathleen again. Thank you so much.
Hi, Ken. You probably remember me. I'm Shannon Hardy, and I'm from Menifee. And I have a 2-point question. First part of this is about tax reform. This is the tax reform plan that the GOP is talking about putting forth, which is really a tax cut plan for the rich. What they want to do is they want to cut in half the Social Security tax, payroll tax that the workers pay, as also the employers pay. And that will give a big bonus to the employer. And initially the employee says, oh, wow, more money in my pocket, which is good for the short term. But the long term is that payroll tax funds Social Security. Their retirement plan is funded by that tax. So if it's cut in half, Social Security will be defunded quickly. For those of us who are on Social Security, that sucks. For those of us who someday hope to retire, that really sucks, because you will have no safety net, zero. Zero money will be left in that fund. The other issue is, I don't know if everybody else is feeling this, but I get very little sleep each night because I know that when I get up the next morning, the first thing I do is turn on the news because I want to know who we've bombed, who we've insulted, or what weird, crazy thing this president has tweeted out in the middle of the morning. So please put a check on this man. That's what Congress is supposed to do. They are supposed to check the executive branch, and you are not doing your job. Thank you.
My name's Robert again. What are you going to do about our educational TV for our young people, like PBS, Disney Junior? They help our little kids read, write, and pretty much learn how to spell. What are you going to do about that?
Congressman Calvert, I'm a constituent from Menifee, and I would like to speak back with the Affordable Care Act. And in terms of the prescription drugs, as a senior, and I've seen this with many seniors, the older Americans that have to take drugs, which is the majority of seniors that I've come across, the AARP, which I'm a part of, fought hard to close the donut hole that would let seniors not have to pay more than their share in terms of the drugs that they needed. And at this time, since they are the ones that have the chronic illnesses, we would like for you to rethink the Affordable Care Act, and especially for prescription drugs for seniors, again, who have the most cost in that area. There's a number of other issues in terms of, just was mentioned, Social Security. All of them are important, but when you stand in line behind people who are trying to get the drugs that they need in order to stay healthy or mentally well, and you see that they're making a decision between getting the drugs and what they may have to eat for the month, think about that, and we hope that you will actually give more thought to the Affordable Care Act and how it's going to affect those that it impacts. Thank you.
Mr. Calvert, my name is Tracy Sanford Wachtel, and I'm a sexual assault survivor. And I want to know what you are going to do to stop Trump's war on women.
Mr. Congressman, my name is James McGee. I reside in Sun City. I have two short questions. Question one, your Republican colleagues will not support an independent investigation of the ties between Russia and Trump. The question, Mr. Congressman, is will you support that? Question two, your Republican colleagues will not support calling for the president to release his tax records to allow us to find out who he's really working for. The question, Mr. Congressman, is will you support that?
Congressman, my name is Peggy Wortham. I live in Corona. I'm one of your constituents. And I have this question, please, it's a serious question. You need to listen.
And I want to know, what will it take for you and your Republican colleagues to stand up against the dishonesty, the collusion, the financial conflicts of interest, and the Russian interference with our democracy? We need you. I never thought I would stand here and beg to all the Republicans in this country, we need you to stand up to these things. I cannot understand why the Congress people across the country are ignoring the grave danger these issues are posing to this country in which we live. Please. Yeah. And FYI, Congressman, when the truth does come to the surface, and it will, all of you who turned a blind eye to all this going on are going to sink with the ship.
Following the theme of the last two people, Congressman Calvert, I wanted to ask you, in the interest of transparency and behavior fitting the dignity of the office of the presidency, 45 should release his taxes so that we can see who and what countries have or hold sway over the decisions you'll be making regarding foreign policy, regulatory rollbacks, domestic policy, civil policy, human rights. Please support the resolution asking for 45 to release his taxes. If he has no conflicts of interest, let us see it for ourselves.
Hello. I hate public speaking. I am Marcia Barnes from Menifee, California. I fax every day. I email every day. I sign petitions every day. I donate what I can afford every month. And what I want to know, Mr. Calvert, who is not here, when are you and other congressmen going to stop Trump's vacation spending? One trip less will pay for Meals on Wheels. One trip less will pay for school lunches. We, the people, want you to stop this spending.
Hello, everybody. My name's Elaine Axe, and I'm from Menifee. I've been here for 23 years. I'm almost 89 years old. I've been a Democrat all my life. I have a lot of Republican friends, and there's a lot of people in here that are independent and whatever. We're all human beings, and we're all God's children. And I just want Mr. Calvert to hear us and hear us loud and clear. I think your ears must be burning because we've really been talking to you today from our hearts. And if you want to have a seat with Congress next term, you better get off of your butt and you better work for the people. And I'm for everything that everybody talked about today. I'm not a real good speaker. I'm just speaking from my heart. And God bless you all.
Congressman Calvert, my name is Cindy Reyna, and I'd like to address the issue of abortions. I feel they're a necessary thing. Not only does Planned Parenthood service those needs, but they help with birth control and other necessary things that women do need. I feel it's none of your business to what a woman's decision is to be made, and I feel like it is up to the people and not you, since you have no experience with it. So thank you.
Richard Rogers from Corona. On the human rights issue, Mr. Calvert, I think if we could get away from labeling people, if they're Muslim, LGBT, whatever they are. One lady mentioned that she wanted to be called an American. Well, stop calling people all these other names. Okay. Anyway, if you could protect the Social Security system, I have a suggestion. When LBJ was president, he started taking money out of the Social Security Fund. And to do that, the government, they prepare a voucher, and they take it to Social Security, and Social Security loans them the money. This has been going on since LBJ. I don't know what parties do it, but whatever. Whatever. Okay. And if the government would pay these vouchers back, Social Security would last many, many years. Okay? And one more thing I may address the group real quickly. I married a lady that her mother was from a foreign country. I brought her to the country, to the United States, and immediately I started to get her citizenship. And with this immigration problem, all the deportations, somebody can talk to me in the back of the room. I do not understand why the Latino people or any other people, there's another label. If you're not a citizen, apply for citizenship. Do the naturalization thing. Don't wait until like now, because I know they're saying, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? It took my mother-in-law 3 months to get it. Well, that lady, I have the mic. I have the mic right now. It does not. The husband, let me finish. I got one more sentence. The husband of this lady in Cincinnati, he did not sponsor her. Why didn't he do that?
It's not that easy. It's not that easy.
My name is Bethany Wilson. I live in Menifee. My husband just retired from the Navy this past year, and I have to say that I have never been so relieved to not have him in the military. But on behalf of all of the men and women still serving and their families, what are you going to do to protect them and keep them from being needlessly sent into conflict just to stroke this president's fragile ego?
Hello, my name's Issa Rashid. I'm from Corona, California, and my concern is our drone strike program. I feel our president isn't weighing the moral consequences of a program that has shot at schools, it has shot at innocent civilians, and it's been proven not to be effective. I feel our president doesn't care as much as he should, and I feel our representative doesn't care as much as he should, and I feel the people that he's representing do care, though, about the moral consequences of this. And I'd like to hear Ken Calvert's response to that.
Good afternoon, Congressman Calvert. My name is Trevor Jones. I'm a 17-year-old constituent in Corona. I just recently got accepted to UCR, and I'll be here. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be living in your district for a long time, unless, something good happens and he gets kicked out. But I'll be living here for a long time, and I feel like the demographic of myself and my peers and our voting issues and what we care about is changing, and I'd like to know how you're going to accommodate the changes in the following years of your administration. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Sam Shemi. I live in Corona, and I'm Iranian American. Iran was one of the countries included in the travel ban that our president instituted earlier on. We've been applying for their visas, my grandparents' visas, who still live there for close to 5 to 7 years now. My grandmother got hers, I want to say, just a few days before the travel ban was first implemented. My grandfather's was under review, so we have to start over for him on a process that's been taking so long. My question to Mr. Calvert, who's not here, is why will you let the president trample over civil rights and human rights so easily and not stand up for what's right? Thank you.
Hi, Congressman Calvert. Will Everly again from Canyon Lake. One question I wanted to ask is, why would you support the gutting of the House Ethics Office in the first days of this year? And another thing is, what do you suspect the reason Jason Chaffetz is leaving Congress? Do you think that he will be running for something else? He's already said he won't. He's even saying that he might be leaving office sooner than the end of his term. Do you suppose that the ethics watchdog has done something that's not ethical? I would say that you want to be on the right side of this. Ethics are important. We have an unethical president, we have an unethical administration, unethical cabinet, and your ethics are questionable too. The Corona Police Department has a report that shows that. Yes, you're an unmarried man, but hookers are still hookers, and that woman was not your friend.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eiley Whiting. I'm the lead organizer for the United Domestic Workers Unions here in Riverside County. Are there any home care workers in the house? So, Ken Calvert, we have 29,000 home care workers here in Riverside County. They deserve better wages. They deserve better benefits. They keep those who they care for and they love comfortably at home. Instead of having them institutionalized in a convalescent home where they do not get the care that they deserve, they sacrifice their day-to-day living to make sure that those that they care for have the quality of care that they deserve. But now with this, with the Republicans that have taken over, unions are under attack right now. There's an organization called the Freedom Foundation that has actually come into our communities giving false information to our members in hopes that they decline to become members, stating that they would save money, but knowing all the while it takes away their voices where they will not be able to be heard. So we want to make sure that you understand that, we know that the Republican Party is working with the right-wing think tanks to undermine the labor movement in our country. If the labor movement went away, there would only be two types of people, rich and poor, and we will not stand for that. Thank you guys very much.
Definitely. Let's just give it up for everybody for being here on a Saturday. Amazing questions, very passionate, involved, loving. This is beautiful. This is America that we want to live in, where everybody has a chance to voice their opinions and their concerns. And it just struck me, I just really wish someone could answer these questions. I wonder, what would Calvert say? We don't know. He won't show. So saying that on your seats, there's a call to action. We have a script that you can actually call his office. You could choose to call his DC office or his local office and pose your questions, as well as the forms that you guys have filled out. If you could give that to the ushers or anybody wearing a green sticker, we need to collect those because we're going to deliver those to his office. So he knows that this is what your constituents' concerns are. We wish you were here. Hashtag where is Calvert. And we'll make sure we deliver that. So to bring us to our close, we're going to bring back the pastor. And thank you for allowing us to be here, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I just have a couple of things I want to say. First of all, I would like you all to keep your seats until my 11 o'clock service tomorrow morning. Second, I think there were a lot of people across the country, millions of people, who were opposed to Obamacare, but said, "Don't touch my Affordable Care Act." Third, to solve the Social Security problem, just take the cap off the Social Security, so that the millionaires and billionaires pay 15% on all their money instead of paying their Social Security tax in the first 10 seconds of the new year. And fourth, I don't claim to be a prophet, but I think I know what Ken Calvert would say to all the questions that were asked. I hope I'm wrong. I hope when you all turn in your cards and they go to Corona and they get to Washington, that he will take your questions and your comments seriously and not give them the single finger salute that I think he would give them if he were here. So I just want to, this is, as I said before, this is democracy in action. You all coming here has done my heart good. I'm just so thankful that this happened and that this happened in my church. And, you know, I just hope that the current regime in Washington will pay attention to folks like you and me. And God bless you all. Thanks for coming.
Ushers, please make your way towards the back of the door and collect the cards. For the ushers, make your way towards the back of the doors and pick out the filled out sleeves.
Above me, that endless skyway, saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. I roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. All around me a voice was sounding, this land was made for you and me. When the sun comes shining, then I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling. The voice was chanting as the fog was lifting, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, and this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. When the sun comes shining, then I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving,